they said it couldn't be done. For decades, scientists believed that a self-powered engine defying the need for fuel or external energy input was nothing more than a fantasy. Yet today, a Black African woman has shattered that belief, unveiling a machine so revolutionary that it has left engineers at NASA in stunned disbelief. Her invention doesn't just operate without fuel. It generates power from within, continuously, cleanly, and independently, a feat once thought impossible under the laws of physics as we know them. In a quiet laboratory somewhere in sub-Saharan Africa, surrounded by simple tools and unwavering determination, she turned what many dismissed as science fiction into functional reality. Her name is whispered with awe across scientific circles that once ignored her. An inventor, physicist, and dreamer, she represents the dawn of a new era for the African continent and for the entire world. The story of how she achieved this is one that defies logic, expectation, and the very boundaries of energy technology. For years, she had been studying electromagnetic fields, searching for patterns that could explain how certain frequencies interacted with matter at a subatomic level. While the global scientific establishment pursued fusion reactors and quantum propulsion, she took a different path, one inspired by nature itself. She noticed that certain natural systems, from the human body to Earth's magnetic field, constantly generate and recycle energy without external fuel. This observation sparked an idea that would change everything. What if a machine could replicate this self-sustaining process? What if energy didn't have to be extracted, but could be continuously recycled within a closed electromagnetic environment? For months, she experimented in silence. There were no research grants, no expensive laboratories, and no major institutions backing her. She relied instead on salvaged components, recycled metal, and an unyielding belief in what she was trying to build. The first prototype barely worked. It vibrated uncontrollably, generating small bursts of energy before shutting down completely. But in that failure, she saw a clue, a small window into something extraordinary. Through meticulous adjustments, she began tuning the electromagnetic resonance of the system, balancing magnetic polarity with precise timing. The breakthrough came late one night. Her engine, silent for hours, suddenly came alive, spinning without external input, humming softly as if drawing life from the air itself. It kept spinning. Minutes turned into hours, and the device showed no sign of slowing down. For the first time, she had built a self-powered engine. The implications were staggering. If scaled, such technology could make fossil fuels, batteries, and even solar power obsolete. It could provide limitless clean energy to the entire planet. And more importantly, it could give Africa, long exploited for its resources, control over the future of global energy. When word of her discovery began to spread, skepticism followed immediately. How could someone without the backing of a major institution achieve what the world's most advanced agencies had failed to do? Critics accused her of fraud, claiming her device was secretly wired to an external power source. But independent engineers invited to witness the demonstration left speechless. They inspected every wire, every circuit, every magnet, and found nothing that could explain the continuous rotation except one thing. The system was indeed self-powered. NASA's propulsion experts reportedly analyzed the data and admitted, off-record, that the readings didn't align with any known physics model. The device produced measurable torque and consistent power output without energy loss detectable by standard instruments. Her engine wasn't just running, it was outperforming some of NASA's own high-efficiency experimental drives. A quiet revolution had begun. The inventor herself, humble and composed, refused to take personal glory. She credited her success to her ancestors, to intuition, and to the boundless intelligence of nature. But behind that humility was a sharp mind capable of seeing patterns where others saw chaos. She described her invention as a self-resonating electromagnetic oscillator, a machine that harnesses ambient fields and converts them into usable kinetic energy through resonance synchronization. In simpler terms, it powers itself by aligning with the natural frequencies that already exist in space around us. This is not perpetual motion, it is resonance-based energy conversion. The system uses layered magnetic coils, each tuned to specific frequency ranges that interact in a feedback loop, creating a balanced energy state. When the system is activated, it doesn't draw power from any battery or grid. It simply begins cycling the electromagnetic field internally, amplifying it through resonance until stable output is achieved. This output can then drive motors, charge capacitors, or power external systems. In demonstrations, her engine-powered lighting systems, small motors, and even a modified electric vehicle, all without connection to any external energy source. The results were verified repeatedly, and each time, the same phenomenon occurred: continuous power output. Soon, footage of her invention began circulating online. The video showed her calm voice explaining how her creation could revolutionize not just transportation, but every sector reliant on energy. She spoke of African villages that could finally have uninterrupted electricity. She spoke of hospitals that would never again lose power. And she spoke of a world where clean, limitless energy would not be the privilege of the few, but the right of all. The response was explosive. Global media outlets scrambled to verify the claims. Tech analysts debated the implications on talk shows and forums. And within weeks, the global energy market began to shift in anticipation of what could come next. Some corporations reportedly offered her massive sums to sell her technology. She refused every single one. Her vision wasn't to sell out to foreign interests, but to establish Africa as the center of a new energy revolution. She founded a small research consortium, a mix of African engineers, scientists, and innovators, dedicated to refining and scaling the self-powered engine. They began working on modular versions that could power homes, schools, and vehicles. Each prototype became more efficient than the last. Soon, they were powering entire community centers off-grid, demonstrating true energy independence. NASA's engineers, once skeptical, began quietly reaching out for collaboration. Some called it the African M-Drive. Others compared it to Tesla's dream of wireless energy transmission. But for her, it was something simpler, a return to harmony between technology and nature. She often said, "Energy isn't something we take, it's something we align with." That philosophy guided every refinement of her invention. Her team began testing larger models, capable of powering industrial machinery. These systems demonstrated consistent output far exceeding the input required to start the device. They operated for weeks with no fuel, no charging, and no emissions. It was, by every measure, the cleanest and most efficient energy system ever observed. Governments across Africa began to take notice. Talks began about implementing the technology into national energy strategies. Pilot projects were launched to test the self-powered engines in rural electrification programs. And for the first time, the continent was positioned not as a consumer of global innovation, but as its leader. Her invention sparked a movement of young African scientists inspired to dream bigger. Universities began adding renewable resonance physics to their curriculum. Crowd-funded labs appeared across Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria, all trying to replicate and enhance the design. The ripple effect was unstoppable, but with great power came immense pressure. Some multinational energy corporations reportedly began lobbying to slow the spread of her technology. Patents were challenged, data was questioned, and misinformation campaigns tried to discredit her work. Yet through it all, she remained calm. She knew that no force could suppress the truth forever. Her technology worked, and millions had already witnessed it. Independent researchers in Europe and Asia confirmed that her resonance-based model could indeed produce sustainable energy. The data was real. The physics, though unconventional, was reproducible. And the impact was undeniable. Energy experts began to realize that this technology could end global energy poverty within a generation. It could make electricity as free and abundant as air. And it could neutralize the world's biggest source of conflict: the struggle over energy resources. In Africa, her invention became a symbol of liberation. Communities that once relied on expensive diesel generators now used compact self-powered units. The silence of the engines symbolized more than clean energy. It symbolized freedom. Children could study at night without blackout interruptions. farmers could run irrigation pumps without worrying about fuel shortages. And entire towns began to grow, powered by technology born on their own soil. NASA, meanwhile, continued testing her concept in high-precision labs. Early results showed energy stability beyond anything achieved with current ion propulsion systems. Her self-powered engine design began influencing advanced propulsion experiments for spacecraft. Imagine an engine that could power a spacecraft indefinitely, without fuel, relying solely on electromagnetic resonance. Such a system could change the future of space exploration forever. She was no longer just an African inventor. She had become a global phenomenon, a name synonymous with the next leap in human technology. In interviews, she remained grounded, speaking softly about the need for global unity and environmental respect. She often reminded people that this invention was not magic, but the result of persistence, faith, and respect for nature's hidden laws. Her laboratory expanded. Young engineers from around the world traveled to Africa to learn from her. What once was a humble workshop had become a global hub of innovation. International agencies proposed partnerships, but she insisted that Africa remain at the heart of production and distribution. She wanted this breakthrough to be Africa's gift to humanity, not another export stripped away for profit. She established training programs to teach the science of resonance and electromagnetic balance. She believed knowledge should be shared freely, not hoarded. And as more people understood her design, the dream of a self-powered world moved closer to reality. Economic analysts began forecasting the collapse of traditional energy monopolies. The fossil fuel industry, already declining, faced an existential crisis. This wasn't a transition, it was a transformation. A paradigm shift from dependency to self-sufficiency. And it was all sparked by one woman's refusal to accept the limits of what was considered possible. Even as powerful interests tried to contain her technology, they couldn't stop the idea from spreading. Once people understood that energy could be generated freely, the concept itself became unstoppable. She had lit a fire that no one could extinguish. Today, her work continues to evolve. Advanced prototypes are being tested across Africa, Asia, and South America. Engineers are adapting the design for marine transport, drones, and aviation. Each application demonstrates the same principle: sustainable, continuous energy without external input. The world stands on the edge of an energy revolution greater than anything seen since the industrial age. And this time, it's being led from Africa. Her name has become a symbol of what can happen when belief meets brilliance. In the annals of technological history, few moments can rival this. The moment when a woman, born far from the world's power centers, redefined the very meaning of power itself. She showed that genius knows no geography, no gender, and no boundaries. Her self-powered engine isn't just a scientific breakthrough, it's a message to the world that the future of innovation belongs to those who dare to dream beyond limits. And that sometimes, the greatest revolutions begin not in billion-dollar laboratories, but in the quiet determination of a single mind that refuses to give up. As her invention continues to inspire a new generation of African innovators, the message is clear: the next wave of global change will rise from the cradle of humanity itself. And when historians look back on this moment, they will say it began with one woman who dared to outthink NASA and succeeded.